worldwide. And I believe every one of us will come out of this safely by the special grace of God. So thank you very much. And let me use this time to apologize for any inconveniences because of the different time zone. Some people probably are in the middle of the night. Some are in the early hour of the day. And while some are already starting the day or midday. So we are very sorry for these inconveniences. So we want to start the program now. From the feedback I've gotten, it's like everybody is able to hear me clearly. And this is the way we'll be having the event. For people that are connecting from North America, you are all welcome. People from Europe, we appreciate your presence. People from Africa and other continents, everywhere represented here, you are all welcome to the program today. And just as has been stated, I don't want to assume everybody has the program of events, but this is the way we'll be going about this. We will be, shortly after this introduction, we will be having the procession song. Then we have the national anthem of the UK, USA, and Nigeria. Then to be followed by our opening prayer by the Institute of Information Management Secretary, Mrs. Rhoda Faraday. On this note, I want to welcome everybody. God bless you all. I want to believe the technical team are trying to bring this up. Please let me know when you are able to bring up the anthems for the various countries. But while we are waiting for the anthem, please, in case you have any information to share and where you are not able to signal, maybe because of the program going on, kindly make use of the chat option. Then we'll make sure we are reading whatever is coming up on the chat, and the technical team will take the necessary action on this. So please, the team out there, that's the technical team, let's know when you are able to bring up the anthem.
I think we can give it a shot. We didn't know we were doing music, so we can't promise how well this will sound, but we're ready when you are. Should I start with the anthems or the induction procession song? I think the anthems first, correct?
Yes, sir.
You got it. It'll take one moment to load it, but they will be coming.
Okay, but in case that is loading, then we can go with the procession song while we have the ceremonial president, the executive council filing in. We can go ahead with the procession song.
Just give us a moment here.
Thank you, sir.
No problem.
She ruined my mood by talking about project.
If you're not speaking in this presentation, we ask that you put yourself on mute. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne Marie. Okay, we're going to be playing the songs in a row. I hope everybody can hear them. All right. Unfortunately, I think it's we can try to work on it. We didn't find out until the meeting time that we were doing songs. That's something that's going to take a little bit more work to figure out how Zoom handles those. So I apologize, but we're not going to be able to do those at this time. We could try to figure it out.
Okay, thank you very much. That is understood. So while we are looking at possibility of that, we are continuing with the program, and I would use this moment to invite Mrs. Rhoda Farnide to go ahead with the opening prayer. You can go ahead, ma'am.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Let's pray. Almighty and everlasting Father, we bless you this morning for the gift of life, for the preservation of our souls. Lord, we are grateful. We return all honor to you in the name of Jesus. We lift up this program and all proceeding today into your mighty hands. We ask, oh Lord, that you take preeminence and you lead us through. In Jesus' mighty name, we have prayed. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you very much. I want to use this opportunity to recognize the dignitaries present on this program today. Even though I may not be able to see everybody, but I want to use this time to recognize the highest dignitaries in different locations. We have had, like the event we had in the UK, we had members of parliament. The one we had in the US, we have people from the different highest cadre present. But because I can't see everybody, I want to use this time to appreciate you, to appreciate your presence. Then the members of Federal Executive Council from different countries present, we appreciate you. We appreciate your presence. The traditional rulers present, connected today, my Lord spiritual and temporal, the fellow fourth estate of the realm, and that is the media. We appreciate you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being part of our program today. And I will also use this time to recognize the presence of our special guest speaker in the house, in person of Ms. Ellen Schreck. Thank you very much. We appreciate your presence. And also we have Joel Pena Lopez. Thank you very much. God bless you. We appreciate your presence. And especially want to recognize the chairman and the president of Institute of Information, not just Africa, worldwide. Thank you so much for being able to champion what we are having today. And all the various executive council members from different chapters, from different parts of the world, we appreciate your presence. Thank you very much. And all the categories of the members we have, we appreciate your presence today. Just as I said, I'm very sorry because we don't have the means of being able to see everybody. Some names might be skipped. Some position may not be recognized or highlighted, but we sincerely appreciate your presence. Thank you very much. On this note, I will invite the president and the chairman of the IIM Africa Institute of Information Management Africa, that's Ambassador Dr. Sir Oyedokun Ayodeji Oyewole, FIIM, ERMS, RMEMS, FIRMS. I have the honor of inviting you to go ahead with the welcome address, sir. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Dr. Atoyeshe, our distinguished executive awards. This is the opening speech of the President and Chairman of the Executive Council, Institute of Information Management, IIM, at the 2020 online conference and 25th Induction and Investiture ceremony held on Saturday, September 19th, 2020. All protocol duly observed. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to our first ever online conference and the 25th IIM Africa Induction and Investiture ceremony, as we mark our 10th year of existence as the premier international information management professional institute. As we all know, this is dictated by the exigencies of the moment. It is unique, not only because it is online, but also gives us the opportunity to widen membership participation across the entire globe. Without any doubt, the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic has been devastating as it took the entire world unawares. And it's sure left several indelible marks on the sand of time with several lessons learned, which have led the global race into the new normal era, with the significant economic, business, and commercial impacts being felt globally. As a result, the place of data and information management cannot be overemphasized, especially in the management of this unprecedented and unusual pandemic. The lessons learned will surely help to gravitate towards necessary actions needed to stabilize the world economy. So for commerce to be resuscitated, there will be a need for adequate management of data and information during and post-COVID-19. We stand in solidarity with the families who have lost loved ones and those whose life have been forever changed by the pandemic. We pay tribute to their courage, resilience, and fortitude. We also appreciate all the frontline workers, medics, paramedics, environment managers, men of the press, and other non-medics who in one way or the other put their lives on the line for us all. The IIM online conference is coming at a critical time when businesses are reopening in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic, but tens of thousands of businesses are still closed, many of them for good. There is no better time than now to discuss the lessons and required actions for business and organizations to be at the top of their game. Let me also use this medium to appreciate our special guest speakers, Ellen Streck and Joa Pena Lopez, for participating and accepting our invitation to speak at this August event. We appreciate your love and support. Today, we shall be having the 25th edition of the IIM Induction and Investiture ceremony of our great institute. And as usual, we shall be inducting new members into various membership grades, namely graduates, associates, professional, senior professional, fellow, and honorary fellowship. The fellowship of the Institute of Information Management is reserved as a sign of recognition, especially set aside for personalities who have made substantial contribution to the development of the information management and technology profession, its practices, or to the Institute of Information Management. While honorary fellowship is conferred on other professionals with background outside of information management field, both are identified as having made significant contributions that impacts on the profession and the society or the Institute of Information Management. Finally, may I use this opportunity to offer my warmest congratulations to all our inductees, and please be guided that your induction as certified members of our great institute has imposed on you the challenges to have to henceforth exhibit a high sense of integrity, immaculate in character, professional in service, be abreast of trends, and uphold a high ethical and professional standards in your practice at all times. Therefore, I implore you to strive to do yourself, the information management profession, and your family proud always. A very big thank you to all our distinguished guests and speakers for honoring our invitation to grace this occasion. Thank you and remain blessed. I ever hand over to
I want us to appreciate thank you very much. I want us to appreciate our president for that that precise and much as we would have loved to enjoy. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you. I can see the clap in the house. Thank you very much for that. Much as I would have loved us to enjoy more of those wonderful details and the challenges of holding on data, then please we'll make do with that for now. Thank you once again. We appreciate what you have done in making this institute to be alive, and we appreciate every members of the team, because like we say in Africa, a tree cannot make a forest. So it takes collective effort to make things work. Thank you very much to everyone for being great members of the team that's been bringing about us, the achievement we'll be having. So without much ado, we'll be going ahead with the presentation of papers. These are great things we're having in our midst today. People, like we say in this part of the world, people of timber and caliber, just to describe the greatness, the status, and the significance of the listeners today. So please, my screen for what we are going to have on the speakers in the house, so that we'll be able to we presented by Ms. Enshrek. And that presentation will be on data and information management post-COVID-19, lessons and required action. Lessons and law. And there's this saying, experience is the best teacher. But in Africa, we put it this way: evaluated experience is the best teacher.
Not connecting.
I'm sorry, you were hard to hear. I'm going to go ahead and get started. And I'm going to share my screen. I hope everyone can see my screen.
Not yet.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me go back over here. Thank you for answering.
Mhm.
Okay. You have to hit the right buttons in order to share the screen.
Like life.
There you go.
All right, thank you so much for the answers. All right. So first of all, I would like to thank the Institute and the chairman for inviting me to give my presentation this morning. I have spoken and given this presentation 2 other times for my colleagues in the United States, and it is quite an honor for me to be able to give this presentation to my colleagues around the world. So thank you very much. And I want to also do a disclaimer that this is my experience during the pandemic, what I have learned, what I have observed, and thank you for letting me share this with you today. I want to talk about this morning what I'm observing to be true today about information management during the pandemic, what we've been taught, what we have been learning, and still is very true. I will also share with you some lessons learned through the pandemic for information management professionals. And I would like to share then what I think we need to do while we're in this pandemic to better prepare ourselves for a future state. As the chairman said, I think we're in kind of a new normal. Our way of working, our way of communicating has changed. And in many instances, the change has been positive, and that might be very hard. I would like to give you one very large example. My daughter is a teacher, and she teaches children who I call have been forgotten. They're in very poor economic areas, and they are now required to have computers, and those computers have been given to them. They are now learning how to use computers and technology to manage information and their work, and that is important. So what is holding fast for us in the information management profession? Retention schedules with broad classes are still needed. We still need that tool to build the categories of information within our organizations, not just for retention, but also data classification and security, so we can better manage it with technology. We still need the sponsorship of our executives at the highest level. It's important that they are engaged in the process. And when you build those rules, if you aren't changing your processes, they're going to continue to be ineffective. They're not going to work. So you have to have the rules. And implementing technology without our rules, the information management rules, you're not going to achieve the goals that you're wanting to achieve, and you're moving the chaos from one place to another. These are the baselines that have always been there, and we're now seeing that they're critical during this time. Let me build on a couple of points. When you build the retention categories or the schedule for your organizations, you need few categories, not because it makes it more precise, but because it makes it more useful. You have to use the business's terminology, not the technology's terminology, because we're going to change the way we must enforce it and make people use it. You can't have triggers. Triggers must be minimized in order for the technology to automate the rules. And by building this retention schedule, this with classes and the categories, you can enable security. You can enable privacy on broader classes of information if you need to. and you don't have to have, it will actually get rid of the data glut. The note at the bottom is specific to a California privacy rule, but what I have noted also with the global privacy requirements around the world, they're not changing the retention requirements. For the most part, they're really changing your ability to opt out and to know what an organization has about you, but they aren't changing the retention requirements for the organization. So we still need information management professionals to build these tools. Executives need to support the rules because people are using personal devices to do their work now. You have to explain the challenges of remote workers, what they're doing on their computers, the work products they're using, and they need to be able to support what we're trying to do. This has been a comment or a characteristic of information management as long as I've been in the profession, and I've been doing this for 36 years. So it's a long time. And by having them engaged, they're not just talking about it, but they're actually doing it and being a part of the solution. And then you have a defensible program. The third thing that is holding true and fast is that you have to have procedures. I've seen organizations build these rules and then they don't tell people how to get them achieved. You have to be able to do workflow. The tools today actually can automate a lot of these processes, and you have to understand what they can do. Workflows, procedures enable staff to comply. We have to have the people comply. I don't like to use it as a force, but I like to say, I want to enable you to do what you need to do. And the last thing is, but there will be time when there's an exception. I have a personal saying I've shared with my clients over the last 5 years. The most important value of a procedure and of rules is not to standardize how we do things across an organization, but the most important value by having standard procedures and processes is you know when there's an exception that is occurring and you can make a solid judgment call. Without them, everything's an exception and it doesn't work. The last thing that is holding fast and true for our profession is as data comes in, it comes in as is. You're moving data across organizations. We need to stop moving drafts and copies. We need to move those out of the systems. You should design a system based on what you want it to do, not what you necessarily do today. Change the way you move going day forward and treat all of the data and documents in the backlog or in the old system as a project, because you have to stop feeding that glut or that collection of data. Look for low-hanging fruit in technology to apply retention. Some of the easiest ways to do that is when you decommission or retire a system. And another place is when someone leaves the organization to create a process to apply retention at that point. They're very easy processes to implement and to make sure that they work on a consistent basis. So you still have to have those rules that we are as professional design for technology to avoid the chaos. You don't want to just keep moving data because that doesn't work. So as we look at what we've already been taught or what we're being taught today, those things have not changed. And that's important. What you're learning today, what you're doing today is still critical. And actually, I think it's more critical than it ever has been. I was always taught as I came into this profession, how important what we were doing was for the organization. And I truly believe it's more important. And I think it's more important because of the lessons I've been learning during the pandemic. I've been asked special questions about, well, should we retain data from taking temperatures? A lot of organizations, as employees come in the door, are required to take their temperature. In the United States, we have a quarter of all the COVID cases. It is a pandemic that is devastating in the United States. I've also been asked, should we create special record categories for pandemic records? And the privacy of employees and guests in these organizations are becoming new questions for information professionals. And I don't think you need to retain the data from taking temperatures, because you take that as a means to take another step. I look at it as transitory data, and it can just disappear. Should we have special requirements for pandemic records? I don't think it's required. If you want it, it can be accommodated, but I don't think it's necessary. Because if you're doing good information management practices, you have the records you need. They are categorized, they're protected. Having a special category should not be necessary. And when it comes to your employees and clients and guests, for privacy reasons, be careful what you collect, and then delete it if it is not necessary, because they have the right to be forgotten across the country and across the world. There are many highlights of the coronavirus that I've noticed. There's a need for organizations and companies to classify records into a single repository or into fewer repositories. They need to know where the records are. They need to be accessed by everyone who has a right. They need to be able to have them filed and organized in a manner that is logical. You need to use naming conventions, because as people work remotely, they're not talking to one another as quickly. It's not as easy to just go to a face-to-face and say, I don't know what you called something. So we need to have standard naming conventions so everyone can access the records. Number 3, they need to be managed. You need to control access. You need to control the privacy and protection of personal information. And when records are obsolete, they need to be deleted. Retaining too much data costs a lot of money. And as we work remotely, and without any of these controls, I see organizations, data gluts just growing and growing. When you put in these systems and when you use technology, you must put a focus on the metadata. It must be controlled and it must work for your organization. Make that repository the official record, because paper won't work anymore. Multiple repositories is harder for your IT teams to manage. And by having a place where records can go, you can manage all of the other environments for your organizations on a time basis. Number 5 has been one that's been tried in the United States, and in some cases it works very well. And that's to get an executive to sign a waiver for non-compliance for their staff. Many executives won't do it, but they will then get the point that they are responsible for their employees' behavior and their employees' response to compliance. And that's important. So I wanted to share that with you because I found that in several instances, it is making executives kind of stop, sit up and go, okay, I have to make my employees follow the rules. The other thing is, in the coronavirus era, I'm not seeing but money come out of budgets for technology. Actually, I'm seeing more money put into the budgets. Companies realize now that their information is critical. Managing that, protecting that, has become the utmost in order for their company to be productive and to be continue in business. That many companies fold because they can't manage the data. Number 7, it's interesting that more and more vendors are now getting on the retention, what I call the retention train. Microsoft has a new ECM solution. Box is a new governance solution. Some of the big players who did not want to do that for many, many years are now really engaged in the process. Paying attention to who is putting in governance or building the software to enable governance is very interesting because they wouldn't do it before. And when you put in technology, processes have to change. Use your technology, make it speak for you, make it do things better. Why do you do it the way you do? That's what I ask my clients all the time. Why do you do that way? Why do you call it that way? Why do you have that many signatures? It's not required. Because if you don't do these things, the data gluts will continue. And organizations are beginning to panic because they feel vulnerable with having all of that obsolete documents and data existing in their organizations. It costs them money and it's risky. The last 3 things that I have learned in this pandemic is know what a record is. Not everything an organization has is a record, and it shouldn't be protected and taken care of in the same way. I'm a believer that many transactional databases, many transactional record systems are not records. And that can be a point of conversation, but you need to know what a record is because you will build all your rules around what is and what isn't. And then have employees agree to manage the records when they work from home, even if you have to have them sign off on waivers. And lastly, as part of our learning, even today, training courses for our employees must be shorter. They must be more on point so they can absorb the requirements and the steps very quickly, and they can apply the rules. I'm watching this as my clients who are large and small organizations expand their capabilities into technology and have to do change management to change the behaviors of their employees. Those are the 12 things that I've learned during this pandemic that I think are critical for us to absorb in our way of approaching work as information management professionals, because I think it's you. I think it's me. I think it is us that are going to be able to make those changes within organizations. It isn't the executive. It's not IT, because we have to be able to change people's behaviors. We have to understand how the business works in order to change the way they work. And we have to write the rules that protect our organizations. These are things that you as information professionals are the best person positioned to do. And that's why I think today we're in a better position to lead our organizations into a more compliant, protected state than we've been in the past. Well, in order to do all those things, I want to share with you, there are some things I think you need to know if you haven't learned them, and I'm hoping the Institute will get you to that point. You have to understand and know, you have to be able to evaluate business processes. How do people work and how do you re-engineer that work to streamline processes? You have to understand how to change people's behaviors and how to make work change so it's more efficient. You have to develop strategic and implementation plans. People need to know where you're going, and you need to help them follow you. Always start with what we call low-hanging fruit, the things that you can do easy, because then you build the credibility within your own organization. And you have to understand metadata for your organization. How does the business need to find information? You have to know what technology can do and what it can't do. It can't do everything. So how are you going to compensate that? What do you need to do to prepare your organization? If you're getting into technology, do the specifications first, even before you talk to software vendors. And that's not because you're not going to talk to them, but so you have an idea of what you want that technology to do. And make sure it can apply retention, because that is going to be critical going forward. So these are some of the key things that I think you need to learn. A lot of the software vendors are doing free webinars and seminars today. I probably watch one a week because I want to see what they can do and how it will apply to our profession. The other thing, the last thing I want to share with you on this slide is sometimes we want to be perfect. And I don't think perfection's a good idea, because we're in a constant state of improvement. We're going to continue to improve, and that's how you should approach information management. Secondly, don't assume everyone follows the rules, because at least in my experience, not everybody wants to follow the rules. And I always say, leave them alone and go to those people who will. We'll pick those people up later. If you want to promote information management, information governance, you have to be strategic. How does information management and information governance affect your organization, and be able to articulate that quickly? Learn change management techniques. How do I help people remotely? Microsoft actually did a presentation, and one of the things that they said is employee behavior is the #1 obstacle to overcome when implementing technology. How do we change that behavior? And you can. You have to know that it's in small steps. Lastly, be practical and be prepared. If you can't explain what you do quickly, you will lose the attention of many executives. You have to be able to articulate what you do quickly within your organization and how it helps your organization be more productive and more of value to your country, to your organization, and your community. As we close with this, we're still in the pandemic, and we're going to be there a while. At least in the United States, they're saying not until next June will we be able to change or go back to the way we're working. I wish all of you and my colleagues in other countries have a much better approach to managing the pandemic and for getting back to what can be a better way of living. Let me pause and see if you have any questions.
Wow, let's appreciate Ms. Ellen Schreck for that wonderful presentation. Please, let's appreciate her for that. This is a great presentation indeed. There will be room for questions. Please, let's make use of this opportunity for clarification. I don't know if there's any other suggestion. If you can take that, use the next 15 minutes to entertain questions from people. This time for question and answer. From the technical team, can we go ahead with that while we will be preparing for the second guest speaker? Please, you can unmute yourself to ask your question. But if you have any technical challenges, you can write the question on the chat group. The technical team will be able to read it out. Once again, thanks very much for that presentation. The presentation we just heard now is from Ms. Ellen Schreck. She has over 35 years of experience in records and information management program development. and implementation for both private corporations and public entities. Ms. Schreck has also been deposed 4 times and interviewed by United States at office for detailing and defending IIM program governance and practices. She has developed program governance and practices and developed requests for proposals and served as project manager for our clients in selecting and implementing ECM solutions for organization. You now see why we have such a robust presentation from Ellen. She has served as Director of Corporate Records and Information Management for pharmaceutical companies and record managers and consultants for municipal government agencies and law firms. She has crafted information management program strategies for diverse organizations and built concrete actionable steps for implementation across a broad spectrum of domestic and international clients. She is active in ARMA International, where she is a board member for a local chapter. She has served on the board of directors for ARMA International from 2000 to 2003. Wow, this is a great resource, a great blessing for us in IIM. In addition, she has published articles in various professional newsletters and a past contributor to the monthly columnist. Please, we should not allow these wonderful credentials to go without tapping more into the stream of experience, into the wealth of experience. Okay. So please, you are free to ask your question before we go to the second speaker. Thank you very much, Ellen, for that great job. Thank you, Ma.
Thank you.
Okay, are some people trying to signify their intention to ask questions?
I believe you have a question from Adamola. Just give them a chance to, if you would like to ask a question, please unmute your line and then ask away or type it in the chat.
So there's a question about connecting with me on LinkedIn. If you just look up Helen Streck, I think I'm the only one in LinkedIn, and you can find me. The last slide has my email address, and it is a United States phone number. They work. You are always welcome to send me an email and ask me questions. If you want a longer conversation, I'm very happy to answer your questions. So please use my email. The chairman uses it all the time. If you use the phone number, you can catch me on texting. I'm also a fan of the Institute on Facebook. So you can find me on the Facebook also, because I'm a member and a fan of the Institute for Africa, the International Institute. I'm there also.
Okay. Thank you very much. You can see that the uniqueness, just one person on the social media, uniqueness of the identity. That's great. And she is the CEO and president, Kaizen InfoSource LLC, USA. We can't have two of such. Thank you very much. So while we are, okay. So while we are seeing, hopefully by the time we have the second speaker, then when we have questions, please, Ellen, be on standby in case we still have questions that will come up later. Thank you very much. Please let's appreciate her one more time for that brilliant presentation, for that great thing we have received from this group. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you so much. So on this note, we'll be going to the second special guest speaker. I'm sorry for the technical itch the first time, so that's why I have to do it this time around. So I will be sharing the screen for us to see the profile of our second guest speaker. This is the one for Ms. Ellen Schreck. and why we will be going to the second guest speaker now. So, as I said earlier, we will be able to entertain questions for after this presentation. The second speaker will be coming up shortly. I have the honor of inviting João Pena Lopez, CEO, Clever Time Consulting, Portugal. João Pena Lopez specializes in document management since 1998. He holds 2 postgraduate degrees in document management from the University Lusofona, Lisbon, and a PhD from Universidad do Alcalá do Henares, Madrid in 2013, with a thesis studying the economic benefit of electronic document management, EDM, and he is the CEO of Clever Time Consulting, who delivers process and document automation solution in different countries. This is loaded. And with this special honor from the IIM, I want to invite you for the second paper. Thank you very much, sir, for the second presentation.
Thank you very much. I will share my screen. Let me I understand Alan's problem. Need to, there you are.
Last week. Matthew, I did ask of me last week. I said
Are you watching my screen now?
Yes, we can see you. We can see your screen.
Yes, we can see.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I thank Alan because her speech was celestial music for what I have to say next. So some of my statements are already backed up by the huge experience of Alan. Nevertheless, my presentation will be a bit more dedicated to the details. And it was very good that Alan did this bird's view guidance of corporate data information management. I will direct some of it to some nitty-gritty. First of all, I would like to thank IIM, namely Ambassador Erokun, with whom I've been friends for many years. I had the privilege of witnessing the creation of IIM, and I must say, I am very proud of the road IIM has done during these years. And of course, I am very honored to be here today. Thank you. As for myself, I can't say I've been involved in electronic document management since ever, no. I am a technical engineer to start with. I worked for projects, telecommunications projects for governments, private companies. I've been involved in digital TV stations. And at the end of the day, I was a bit fascinated by electronic document management, which still a bit unknown today, can save a lot of money for companies. Although when we talk about document management, it always seems a bit moldy, a bit smelly, and that is a prejudice people have, mainly top management. And that is very wrong, as I will try to prove over here. So for the last 25 years, I've been running a company that handles exactly this. And as we will see a bit later on, when we talk about management, document management, we have to lift all the little bits and pieces in the way, from the receptionist of the company to the president of the board. There is no person that does not handle documents. So This is absolutely important. Yes, now COVID-19 came along, and we are talking about, oh, because of COVID, we need to change things. I don't agree. Things should have been changed long ago. COVID-19 underlined only that need of change. Why? Because now we need to work from home, remotely. We need to work from anywhere, anytime, with any kind of equipment. But this should also have been truth 5-10 years ago. But companies decided that, we don't have time now for digital transformation. So COVID-19 came along and showed that we need to change fast, very fast. Alan stated it very well. And I always tell my customers that our jobs has very little to do with technology. Well, somewhere in the way, we need to address it. But our main purpose is organization. As I said before, from the receptionist to the chairman of the board, that's no one that does not work with documents. So we need to organize that. We need to impact the organization of the companies. And that organization is supported by people. So organizations and people are 80-85% of our projects. And at the end, of course, we need to have access to the cloud or access to computers. Yes, but every time we call a company and say we do document management and process managed digitally, oh, that's with the IT guys. No, it's not with the IT guys. It's with people that runs departments, it's with top management. So there is this huge prejudice. Everything smelling digital is with the IT guys, and it is not. So this is something that we need to start changing in the organizations. As the title of the presentation suggests, we are talking about corporate data and information. But at the end of the day, what is this? Where does it come from? Corporate data and information is everything that will help the companies to manage their future, to make strategic decisions, to know what the employees are doing, to know what the customers are doing. It's all data. And this data, my question seconds ago, where does it come from, is not innocent. We need really to address it and ask ourselves, why are documents important? Information exists where? How do I feed? Well, companies have ERPs for financial management. They have ERPs for human resources management, productions management systems. All of those need corporate data and produce corporate data. But in the meanwhile, we are talking about documents. So how do the documents fit with corporate data? Well, if I may be bold, document at the center of everything are the documents. Why? Because you cannot feed an ERP with finance data without that data exists in an invoice, in a purchase order, in an email, as simple as that. Only after they travel on documents, they can be sent to the solutions that process them in the detail. And if you don't take good care of your documents, you lost. Sending to the right software solutions the correct corporate data. Now, in order to analyze some of today's problems in this matter, let's get ourselves a bit away from this and Wally, find Wally, the common denominator on the following sentences. Buildings. Sorry? Buildings collapse in earthquakes, right? Unfortunately, yes. People having difficulty in changing jobs. You need to take the car to the body shop when you bang it somewhere. Yes. Please mute your phone, your mics if you are talking to somebody near you, otherwise this will be complicated. People do have difficulty in listening when we are arguing, you know, some point, some concept. We find sometimes that the people in front of us do have a problem. Video rentals got out of business to cable TV. So all those things have something in common. Can we find it? Well, if we find Wally, Wally is this, rigidity, the inability to change or adapt. And this is one of the big problems that large and small companies had during the last 10 years when technology advanced fast in order to adapt to the new possibilities. And this is why COVID-19 came along and showed you have to change. So rigidity is a big problem. Of course, there is a sunny side on the street. The sunny side today is remote work being possible, as we will see in a couple of minutes, cloud, mobile devices, above everything else, flexibility and easy to use. If you provide the employees of a company with tools to work that are flexible and easy to use, there is a huge motivation that everybody works for the common good, as Alan stated, and very well so. So let's focus correctly. We're not going to talk about earthquakes, no. We are not going to talk about body shop work, no. We are not talking about how you find a job, although I always keep saying to people that if you send your CV to someone, some company, your CV must stand out because they will receive hundreds or thousands of CVs. What do you have in your CV that catch the other people's eye? But we are not going to go through that now. We are going to talk about easy, secure, and flexible process and document management, because these are the needs for today, mainly for today with COVID-19, but they were already true before COVID. So I keep emphasizing this so that people don't think, oh, the needs have changed because of COVID. No, the needs were there already. COVID only underlined them. As I said before, at the beginning, there was the document. I need to feed my ERP with data. Where does that data is? In a document, in an invoice, in a purchase order, wherever. And attention, because there are a lot of vendors that say, oh, my ERP managed its own documents. The CRM blokes comes and say, oh, my CRM managed its own documents. Not so, because in ERP... Hello. Because if it is true that the ERP can store an invoice, yes, they can. But if I have an exchange of email, please mute your... Thank you, host. So if the ERP can archive, can store its own invoices, if I have an exchange of emails in the last minute saying, okay, I will pay you in 30 days, and because I pay you in 30 days, you give me an extra 3% discount, this exchange of emails can never arrive to the ERP. So they have to stay in the document management system. And this is the real reason that, as we will see in some minutes, the ERPs are not meant to store documents, period. And they cannot store all the documents. So document management is the very heart of all this, but we will come to this a bit later. Now, white screen. Documents, documents, documents. What are they? Have you ever thought? We keep talking about documents, but what really is a document? Well, this may be a surprise, but a document is any computer file. Wow. This opens a whole new universe to us, because we are not only talking about digitized paper or, digitally created PDFs. We are talking about video files. We are talking about photos. We are talking about AutoCAD files. All of these are documents. Even specific files used in a specific machine in a factory is a document. Host, can you please mute everybody again, please? Thank you. Thank you. So this means that I can install a document management solution in any kind of organization to manage any kind of file. Having said this, I say this: any document must have its specific flow. It is trivial for everybody that an invoice follows a flow for approval. Yes, everybody knows that. But for instance, I have a customer that produces videos for commercials in the TV stations. The video file follows an approval process before it's released to the stations. So as you see, in concept, there is no difference between an invoice and a video file. They are documents, and each one of them has its specific flows to go on. So documents and flows are absolutely of the essence, the main concepts of everything I've been talking about. Now, it is very common to find people that say, oh, my business, the specifics of my business requires custom-made software to manage documents and processes. Rubbish. Rubbish. That's why the image is there. There are no special documents or processes. Documents and processes are neutral in terms of what is the core business. It may be an hotel, it may be an oil producer, it may be an airline company. Document are a document and process are process. So if I define what is the process for a given document, I couldn't care less about the core business. So any good software should be able to manage that. Trying to spend money in custom-made software, which is always a nightmare to maintain, it's a wrong decision. Thank you. Documents, as I said, I have an invoice. I need to export data from that invoice to an ERP. So documents will always have information to be exported, but they also have information that can be imported. For instance, I have an invoice in my document management system, and I classify the invoice with all the metadata. Helen said very well so that metadata is of the essence. So I say the date of the invoice, the number, the total, blah, blah, blah. But there is information that is not on the invoice, that is not printed on the invoice. I can't read it, but is useful for me. For instance, the vendor code. Vendor code is usually in a table somewhere in the company. But if I can go and pick the vendor code to associate in one of the fields of the metadata of that invoice, when I access the document management solution and I ask, let me see what invoices arrived in the first quarter of this year from this vendor code, the vendor code is there. So documents have information that go out, but properly configured, the solution properly configured is also able to get information that is not written on the document and it is of use to us. So that is one of the characteristics people should think about when choosing software, as Alan also said very well. Something else that is very interesting when we talk about documents, and I keep saying documents are at the center of everything. It's a simple clip, as simple as this. So imagine the following. I'm in a manufacturer of whatever, parts for cars, and one of the machines burned, or a circuit of the machine burned, whatever. I need to access my insurance company. So I write a report of what happened. So that report turns out to be, at the end of the day, a PDF. But somebody took photos of the burned board. Okay, I can clip those photos behind the PDF. And even if the bloke videoed the little smoke coming out, I can clip also in the same place the video file. So that clip holds the PDF description, the photos, and even the video. So when I send that somewhere in a processing flow, people do not have to go to different areas in order to get different types of documents. Everything is connected in that particular document. So documents, when we talk about documents and about clipping documents, there is a whole new universe that is expanding. My information processing inside the organization is absolutely limitless. Something else that is of interest, and it's most of the times not really used, is when I say documents must be taken to the relevant people, you will say, well, if I belong to a group of a workflow that processes invoice approvals, it's just natural that the invoice will come to me to do something. Yes, of course it is. But not only those who need to process them. What does this mean? Say I am the CEO of a company. And as CEO of companies, I do not participate on the invoice processing workflow. But I say, every time company X sends an invoice, I want to know, even if I don't have anything to do with its processing. So a clever system, and this is very, very helpful in a lot of different companies, in a lot of different situations. People are notified that a certain document satisfying some sort of criteria, specific criteria, has arrived, and that criteria is of the interest of this person to know that document exists. And this goes beyond being involved in the processing. So
John, please unmute yourself. Thank you.
sorry, I did not understood that I was being moved. So where was I when you stopped listening to me?
I think they missed maybe about 1 minute.
Okay, so I'll recover this quickly. So documents are always taken to the people that must process them. Obviously, this is trivial, but documents are also.
Jon, I'm sorry, you got muted again with people jumping in and out. Please unmute yourself. Sorry about that.
Yes. I just noticed. I will pay more attention. So, but documents are also taken to people that, not needing to process them, are interested in knowing that these documents exist. So my advice is, every time you make a drawing of the process of documents, do not forget to register people that need to know that a certain type of document exists, even if they are not going to process it. Security. As you know, in Europe, we have this GDPR regulation, very strict. And in terms of document management, we could divide it into 3 areas. Pre-access control, meaning who can access which documents to do what. This is not trivial. In an organization, in a corporation, I can say that, for instance, the role financial director can access the financial file cabinets and do whatever he wants. But eventually, the financial director needs to access the file cabinet of the commercial director only to view the proposals out, so that he can make some kind of guessing of the amount of money that will eventually come in. So we need to define who can access what and do what. This is the pre-access control. The post-access control is, okay, this man can access these documents and can edit them, can view them, whatever. But I need to have a log of all the access that have been made, by whom, when, and did what. This is particularly important for human resources file cabinets, because, as you know, GDPR, confidential information, blah, 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 blah. So for each document, I must have a log, who accessed that particular document, when, and to do what. Just view, edit something, etc. So this is the post-access control. And lastly, we need to have a version control, of course. So every time a document is changed, a new version is created, and due to the business rules of the organization, whatever they are, people may access only to the last version. Some people can access to the previous versions. Again, it's organization. Work from home is now a must. Oh, absolutely. During the confinement period we had in Portugal in May, June, I had a call from financial director of a pharmaceutical company saying, if it was not for the document management we have, we would be in big trouble. Host, can I ask you to mute all the mics, please? Thank you very much. So everybody in that pharmaceutical company, everybody in the administrative area were at home working, but they were working exactly as they would do in the office, because all the access to the document management and their process were exactly the same. So work from home is definitely a must for everybody. As well, it is a must to work from the cloud. This has been around for a number of years. Some people would say, oh, just in case, I prefer to have the solution installed in my own premises. Yes, they can have that. But the fact is, the cloud is much more secure than any or most on premises installations, and the cloud has its own servers, its own staff, its own redundancy, because usually when we hire software as a service from the cloud, namely document management and process management, for each, say, 10 gigabytes of document information, it is replicated in 50 gigabytes in geographical different areas, meaning that if a physical catastrophe happens somewhere, the business continuity is assured by the other installations remotely located. So I would think that working from the cloud is now a must for most of the companies. I will not say all of them. There are specifics, yes, of course there are. But this is also a new thing that came along. It's here to stay. The prices are dropping by the minute, at least in terms of storage, and most of the functionalities you see on the on premises installations are now available in the cloud. Again, COVID underlined this. Nowadays, it is of the essence that we can work from anywhere, anytime, and with any kind of equipment. You could work with smartphones to decide to make a decision on a process that involves a document. You can work from a laptop. You can work with anywhere. This is why the word work is no longer a place but an action. So saying bye-bye to the families, Dad is going to work. Now work maybe at home. I am working at home in our company. Basically, since many years ago, our employees, we do not have to go to an office, wasting our travel time, commuting time to work. We either work from home directly on the customers or at the customer's premises, because some of them, such as banks, are a bit picky on remote access. So in those cases, we go there. But work is definitely no longer a place, definitely. Now, we've taught, we have seen above that a document is any kind of file. So files are generated in all sorts of different softwares. ERP software generates files, Outlook, CRMs, Offices, whatever. And even here, that it's not included the photos and the videos and all those kind of things. So we have files of different types and formats, so documents of different types and formats, which are originated in different places. Now, imagining the following. The ERP vendor say, my ERP stores its own documents. Okay. Then the CRM vendor says, oh, my CRM stores its own documents. Okay. Then everybody working with MS Office says, I store my own documents. Okay. And then the people that send and receive emails in Outlook, everyone has their own inboxes in Outlook folders, and they say, I store my own documents. And there are, of course, the documents in paper. So when the day of the crisis arrives and the CEO jumps and say, I need to know what documents do I have concerning this search criteria because they want to take us to court. Oh, we need to go to the ERP software to see if there is something there. We need to go to the CRM to see if there is something there. We need to ask everybody to look into their own shared folders to see if there is any Office document there. The same with emails, the same with paper. It's a nightmare. So if all the documents are in the same repository, independently of their type format of origin, in a 2-second search, I find everything there is to find about that search criteria. So when you think about document management, always think that from the receptionist to the chairman of the board, they all deal with documents, and the documents must be in one place so that they can be searchable easily. Otherwise, it's a nightmare. Believe me. Bear with me, we are almost at the end. Something else we have is it is very common to walk into a company and say, I'm Mr. So-and-so, we implement solutions of digital documents and digital processes to speed things up. And we are faced with the argument, I already have the perfect process, so I don't need help. And eventually they have the perfect process, as you will see in a couple of minutes. I must say that this is funny, because when I was younger, now I have a white beard, so I have a lot of more experience and I do not do the same mistakes. When I was younger, I went into these first meetings with companies and say, I can improve your processes. And I was looked upon and say, Mr. Peñalops, how dare you? It's the first time you walk into this company. You have no idea what our processes are, and you already say you can improve them. So I learned my lesson, and I show these slides instead. So these slides, what they want to, this first slide shows is, I have a father of 3 kids, and I have a motorbike. I have to take them to school before 8:30 in a legal way, and I have to arrive at my office at 9. So what do? I take the first one at 8 o'clock, get back home with my bike, take the second, get home with my bike, and take the third, and then move on to my office. Can I improve this process? No, I cannot, because I can only take 1 kid at a time on the motorbike, so I have to do 3 travels. In fact, when they say, this is the perfect process, yes, it is. But if I buy a car, I could repeat the old process, but the old process would not be any more perfect, because in the car I can put the 3 kids at once. What is the conclusion of this story? Good or bad processes it's not an absolute classification. It's relative to the supporting tool. So when my tool was the bike, that process was perfect. When I changed tools, then that process was not perfect. There are much better processes. The same applies with document management tools. When they are brought into a company, the previous process that could be very good based on emails, based on paper, whatever, now they can improve immensely. This is the great conclusion to take out of this. Now, COVID and the like, there will be other COVIDs. What do they demand? Great care for the circulatory system of information. And the circulatory system of information are the documents, because documents move around, and it's on the documents that the information starts to exist before arriving anywhere else. Then demand having systems that are usable anywhere, at any time, and with any kind of equipment. Then, for the sake of the work effort of everybody, systems must be simple, intuitive, and multi-language. Multi-language is important. More than ever nowadays, we have different people from different countries in the company. So the interface for that particular person, if it is in its own native language, would make her life or his life much easier. Systems that are in the cloud obviously have better ways of guaranteeing business continuity in case of disaster. And mostly important, and this goes against the custom-made software. Systems must be fast to configure and reconfigure and reconfigure. The dynamics of the market, the dynamics of operations will not allow a system to remain static for the future. Having said this, everything to make life easy, of course, I still battle greatly with the next slide, which is this one. Those blokes are carrying rocks in a square wheel. We are trying to tell them, look, round wheels will make your life easier. And they say we cannot pay attention to that because we are too busy. This happens in the real life. I do have customers, potential customers that say, yes, what you are saying, talking about makes sense, but now I cannot pay attention to it because I'm too busy. And they are too busy because they do not have document management systems. So this is the funny part of it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. I hope that this at least arose your curiosity about this kind of issues. You have there my contacts. I'm sending this presentation to IIM. And that's it. I'm at your disposal for any questions you want to ask. Thank you.
Wow. That's a very great presentation, well delivered. And it's like, you should continue. Thanks so much. Let's appreciate Joan Pena Lopez, the CEO, Clever Time Consulting Portugal, for that brilliant presentation. Please, let's appreciate him for that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you can even wave. God bless
Thank you very
sir.
much.
This has been wonderful. Yeah, excuse me. This has been a wonderful moment with our guest speakers. And please, we'll be entertaining a few questions. For those that have been making some jottings, recording some things, you can always go back to those things later. But this is the time for us to voice out, ask questions. I want to believe some people have been putting their questions on the chat. And one thing we pick from those two presentations is that the world is now truly a global village. Events are universal. And we need to carve out ways to do things proactively, optimize the processes in every situation. And we are made to realize easy and secured information and data management is crucial this time around. So for us in the Institute, for so many guests in-house, we are told we need to be innovative, and our systems cannot remain static. So people should be ready to move, be relevant and ready to deliver results at all times. And the emphasis also was placed in the previous presentation on self-development, value adding, and should be ready to communicate, even though you may be the person working alone, and prompt communication to customers. Then in summarizing this from my end, your business is not just about money, it's about your clients. The more values you create for them, the bigger your money. Because at the end of the day, we want to be value adding and we get something great. So please, I don't want to make use of the mic as the only person talking here. We want to receive, welcome your questions so that we'll be able to have the two CEO in the house to be able to do justice to it. Please want to believe we have the president and CEO, Ellen Schreck. Are you still Andy for us? We'll be having the questions for the two guest speakers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
What we have been seeing here is people commending the presentations, excellent presentation. That is great, wonderful. Please, is there do we have questions before we go to the remaining key business of the day? which will be taking us proper to the induction session. Or this time around, I want to invite the president and the chairman of IIM. Please, you have something to say before we move to the next section, sir? Am I communicating?
Can you hear me, sir?
Okay, we are hearing you now, sir.
Thank you very much for a wonderful job so far. I think we need to commend the two resource persons as they have actually not disappointed us. I want to appreciate Ellen for her interest in supporting the development of information management in Africa, and also Lopez, like you mentioned when he started his presentation, he was part of the technical committee that actually developed the IIM Africa blueprints. We are greatly honored to have you again on board, as we believe that this will also reignite our collaboration, and we'll be able to help develop the information management industry for that in Africa and the rest of the world. On that note, I want to leave the floor for people that might have one or two questions to ask before we go into the induction proper. Thank you.
Just so you guys know, there are several questions in the chat if you'd like to answer them.
Dave, I think if you have access to the questions, I think you can read them out and let's have the resource persons react to them.
Somebody asked a question, as an organization, how should information be classified? Then the second question is, please, is there procedure to get the attention of a busy organization, which you have a solution for?
I'll take the first question. How to classify the information in an organization. We break it down so that the information is classified by large categories based on process. Dr. Zhao gave an important example, invoices. I classify all financial transactions as a transaction. So whether money's coming into an organization or money's going out of an organization, it is a transaction. It is one class for retention and security. So you base it on the business process and you use the language of the business process to classify those in those categories, or else they're not going to follow them because they don't understand. And you have to go through that by every process within your organization. And it is a very time-consuming process to do that. As you do it, you'll get better. You'll be able to just talk to people. I actually do it by just talking to people because I've been doing this for 36 years. So I know what to look for. I know what should be in accounting, but that's how you begin to classify information. And I will let Dr. Zhao answer the second question.
Thank you very much, Alan. Well, this is there a procedure to get attention of a busy organization you have a solution for? There are two sides of the coin. If they recognize they have a pain, yes, it is easy, because they call you and say, well, I have this pain, can you help me? We go there and we try to know the details of the pain. Knowing the details of the pain, then you show how you can cure that pain with your own solution. So that's the easy part. The difficult bit is when they think they have a perfect installation. You know that they do not. but they don't know that. And the CEO may be in good faith saying, we don't need your help because we have been surviving for the last 20 years and it's the way we work. So in those cases, what I usually do, it's approach them, not pretending I have anything to help them, but just to inform them of the state of the art in what concerns document and process management. Because if I can put my foot in the door showing something, the reaction is, oh, that is interesting. And they chat among themselves, oh, this could help here, this could help there. So the difficult bit is not convincing a company to have your solution. It's put the foot in the door and having them sitting down around the table. Once you start showing, oh, they will be surprised, I assure you so. So that's my bit.
Thank you very much. In case we still have more contribution, we have one question here that says, when you receive an invoice without purchase number from a vendor, but then you use the vendor's code and you are able to access the purchase order, could that be regarded as a good document control or management? You want me to take the question again?
I think Dr. Zhao needs to answer that question because it was about his invoice and example.
I'm not reading the question and I did not understand it well. Where is it written?
Okay, it's written at by Chidebere Uche, 11:25 a.m. It says, when you receive an invoice without purchase number from a vendor, but you then use the vendor's code and you are able to access the purchase order, could that be regarded as a good document control or management?
It is considered a good document control because when we implement solutions in companies for, say, invoice approval, there are typically three processes that we must configure. First process, invoice without purchase order. It happens. So without a purchase order means that the flow will be longer, involving more people. When the invoices show a purchase order, the first thing we do is going to the whatever table has that purchase order and check the total amount. And if the total amount is the same as the invoice amount, to keep it simple, then since the purchase order was previously approved, then this invoice will bypass a lot of control circuits in order to get paid because the purchase order has been paid. The third type of flows that concerns invoices without purchase orders that must be paid anyway are say the utilities invoices, the phone bill, the electrical bill, the water bill. Those invoices arriving to the company do not have a purchase order, obviously, but obviously they must be paid. So it does make sense to insert them in an approval circuit. So those are typically the three types of invoices you planned from the beginning in any installation we do. There may be others, very specific, but usually these three are common. And not having a purchase order on the invoice does not reveal any sort of bad management or bad organizations. There are invoices like that because I am a manufacturer. I just noticed I missed, I need a part that that shop there or that manufacturer sells. I call him and I said, I need this urgently for this afternoon. And he sends the invoice. There was no time to do that purchase order. I hope I have answered the question.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. The next two questions we have here says, for small companies, what are the key things to note while setting up a department for document management, or how best to communicate this to the employees and ensure they run with it? That question was asked at 11:44 by Balogun Kudus Ade. For small companies, what are the key things to note while setting up a department for document management, or how best to communicate this to employees and ensure they run with it? Then the second question from Tony Adeboyega, as at 11:46, if we are given appointment in a new organization, how proper is it to assure the organization that we will improve the process when we have not been when we are not yet used to their process? Summary, we can improve the process without understanding it first. That is to say, can we improve the process without understanding it first? Is it right to approach things that way?
So I'll take the first one to help Dr. Jha, and then I'll let him answer the second one. Because I work with a lot of small companies, I'm a small company myself. Some of the things that we tell companies as they're moving into document management or ECM solutions is, I call it the point of three. You tell them what the solution will do for them, and you tell them repeatedly. You tell them what they need to prepare to use the solution effectively, and then you tell them what to do. So don't surprise people. Don't expect them to know the technology. You actually have to explain it to them. But when they prepare, you're telling them what it will do, what they will need, and what they will need to do. And that helps them adopt the technology. And I'll turn it over.
Thank you. Alan made a very good point on the technical area. I'm going to add something in the political area. And it goes for small companies and large companies, mainly for large companies. As I said during my presentation, implementing a new tool that will take care of document and process management means to revise processes, because the old perfect process is not more a perfect process. You need to change. So what I would really recommend, this department to be created, be directly dependent on the CEO or on the board of directors, because they will need to have a lot of power. When they start doing processes, and eventually the process go behind different departments, those departments will have to change procedures. No one likes change, so one needs the CEO to say, it's as they say. Otherwise, it will be a nightmare. Years ago, I was I was going to say the name of the company, a big telecoms operator in Portugal. And we were paid to do a lot of things, and they paid well and in time. And the process was crossing 5 different departments. And in one of the departments, I had a director saying, oh, no, you don't need to know how we work. That's our business. I had to go to the vice president desk, and I listened to the vice president calling that director, shouting, saying he has to tell me everything I need to know. So if this department does not have the full support of the top of the pyramid, it will never work. Never. Obviously, it is always nice to convince people. So you do your best to show them that it will be beneficial for each one of the departments and people. But at the end of the day, you have to have the top management supporting you. Now, second questions. Processes. Of course, that you can only improve a process if you know 2 things very well, very well. The reason for that process in the company, the potential customer, why do they need to do that? And always ask why. Never be afraid of asking why. I'll give an example. We went to a company some time ago where the invoices were printed in those printers with 3 copies, you know. The original is white, then there is the second copy is pink, the third is green, and the fourth was yellow or something like that. Because one of the first things we do is asking what kind of documents do you handle? So they were showing us. So they said the white goes to the customer, their customer. The pink goes to the accounting department. The green goes to the commercial department. And I said, what about the yellow? Oh, the yellow, we don't use it. It goes to the garbage. So asking why do you do this is always good, because a lot of times they ask, for instance, this document must go to Mr. Smith for approval. And I ask, but what information has Mr. Smith in his possession to approve or disapprove of the document? Oh, he has none. He always approves. And I ask, but if he always approves, why does the document need to go to him if he always approves? So it is this kind of question, always ask why. So coming to my initial answer, we need to know two things very well. Why the process is the way it is, and be careful. One thing is what the customer wants. Another totally different thing is what the customer needs. And if we go along what he wants, 2 months is down the line, they will say, you installed a process that doesn't work. No, of course not, because it was what they wanted and not what they needed. So the consultant going there needs to understand the process and be able to make the difference between needs and wants. The second thing, it needs to know very well the solution is selling, all the details, because as the process discovery goes on, he must have in his head, I will satisfy this with this functionality, I will satisfy this with that functionality. He needs to know very well what he's talking about.
Well, thank you very much. That's a very good contribution and response to the questions. Do we have any questions before we go to the next event? Or if there's any question that, there's a question here. Generally, organizations often classify the information as highly confidential. Confidential, internal, and public. What happens when these priorities are misplaced? Then the second question is, what are the kind of long-lasting and reliable document backup to be deployed in an organization in the document management process? Then the third one, how secured is the cloud storage? And how do you manage government policies that don't allow cloud outside their country?
Helen, do you want to have a go?
I'll take the first one. When things are misclassified, the biggest outcome of this, because the bottom line question is what happens is you either spend too much money or you don't spend enough money protecting the information. You over retain it or you under retain it. So classification, excuse me, helps you become more cost effective in using the technology and to appropriately manage the information if it's not classified right. And I'm going to tell you, my experience is people spend way more money. Organizations spend a lot more money over protecting and over retaining rather than the other way around. So there's a loss of money, and two, the longer you keep obsolete information, the higher the risk goes. There is a correlation to risk in keeping it too long. So when you misclassify it, you're just spending money and increasing risk. And that's kind of the bottom line. The cloud storage, I think it's secure. What do you think? I think it's very secure. I think they have to be secure in order to get your business. That's the bottom line. You're not going to do business with a cloud storage provider who isn't taking care of your data. And there's competition because there's more than one now. So the competition, in my view, has driven these cloud storage companies to be secure. I'm going to let Dr. Zhao add on to that one.
Well, we do work well together. I will add on both of them, actually. On the first one, I'm going to the technical details, nitty-gritties. Highly confidential, internal, public, etc. Usually, when you install a document management solution, you start with roles, the roles in the company. Financial director, commercial director, whatever. For each of those roles, you assign profiles, what he can see and do. For instance, I'll give you a very easy example. Human resources. Human resources have the staff and the manager. Because of the manager has different rights of the staff, that we are talking about two roles. So, and the CEO says, to my documents, only the HR director manager can access. So we create two profiles. One profile says access to all the documents except the ones of the CEO. And we give this profile to the role human resources staff. To the role human resources manager, we give him or her this profile, and we add another profile that says access to the CEO's documents. So the manager will have two profiles which add up so she can see anything, but as the staff of the human resources department can only see everyone else's but the CEOs. This goes also, so when the document has a field, a metadata field, that classifies highly confidential, blah, 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 we can insert this content in profiles to be given. Having said this, I must say that in operational experience, at the time of the configuration, if the people try to squeeze a lot the security, the initial security, usually we spend a huge amount of time later down the road undoing what we have done, because people always tend to think, oh, we have to secure this, we have to secure that. And at the end of the day, they are taking out of the staff that must know about documents the possibility of accessing them, because everything is so secure. So I would suggest in this case that we build from ground up documents that have public access, then we define which ones are slightly confidential and so on. Otherwise, it will be a mess. So this on the first one. On the second, Alan is absolutely right. There is no vendor in the cloud that is not secure, otherwise they would not have business. But the point the question asks, what about the government policies do not allow cloud outside the country? Well, that's a fact of life. If they don't allow, they don't allow. So the best way would be having one of the national telecoms providers to have its own cloud and use the cloud that is inside the country. There is no other way.
Thank you very much for that response. We had some people that have been making input, just a contribution on the chat page. So if we can all see the chat page, some of the questions asked, we had input on the chat page. We may not be able to review everything, but please, you can go to the chat page, read through, you will be able to get some of the responses provided, the response to the questions. So I don't know whether we still have more questions before we proceed to the next stage. But while waiting for questions, I want to use this time to recognize that's on behalf of the IIM EW Solutions for their technical support. Thank you very much. We appreciate this. And special greetings from the President and the entire Executive Council. God bless you. So do we still have more questions, or we proceed to the next item on the program? Okay, so thank you very much. We really appreciate what these are wonderful. I mean, maybe at the end of the day, with what we have gotten and a lot of jottings people have made, some notes you have taken, most of us will be able to speak boldly in other forum as experts in all the things we've been able to pick from the guest speakers. So please, let's appreciate Ellen and Lopez for that great presentation one more time. Thank you very much. Thank you. God bless you. So, President, please, do I have the permission for us to proceed to the next item we have here, which is the induction and the investiture? Should we go ahead, sir? Induction sessions.
Thank you very much, Engineer Dr. Jumi. I think we're set for the induction, and we're actually going to start with the honorary fellow grade. So I want to use this opportunity to call on the honorary fellows that we have for induction today. I'm going to be calling their names, and I will expect them to say after me as soon as we begin the induction process. On the list of honorary fellows to be inducted today, we have Matthew Stephenson, Assistant Head, Risk and Information Governance, Legal and Governance at University of Bradford in the United Kingdom. Also on the list of honorary fellowship, we have Dr. Anne-Marie Smith. She is VP of Education and Chief Methodologist, EW Solutions. We also, in the US, we also have Eric Collins, who is the president of Virtual Docs Corporation, also in the United States, chapter of the Institute of Information Management. Under the IIM Nigerian chapter, we have Ambassador Prince Ubani Ifeanyi, ED, British Nigerian Business Network, and Ambassador for British African Alliance. If you are with me, I believe by now you must have received your oaths of allegiance. I'm going to be administering the oath of allegiance as the President, Chairman, Governing Council of the Institute of Information Management, IIM Africa. So if you are with me, please say after me. I, your names, male or female, currently of, your address, do hereby consent to be a honorary fellow member with the Institute of Information Management, IIM, with effect from the 18th day of November, from the 19th day of November, of September.
What's the mistake?
Wally, if you can please unmute yourself. I had to mute the lines or everybody would be speaking over each other.
I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, we can hear you perfectly. Go ahead. I had to mute everybody else because everybody talking at once unfortunately messes up Zoom.
Okay. And so we might have to retake the oaths. Maybe before we start, can we have the honorary fellows that are in-house to indicate by raising up their hands? The honorary fellows in the house. We're actually retaking the honorary fellow oath of allegiance. So we're going to start all over again. I'm administering the oath of allegiance for the membership grade of honorary fellow of the Institute of Information Management. So for the honorary fellows that are present here today, please do say after me. I, your names, male or female, currently off, your address, do hereby consent to be an honorary fellow member of the Institute of Information Management with effect from the 19th day of November 2020, 19th day of September 2020, henceforth do solemnly swear and affirm that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Institute, that as an honorary fellow of the Institute of Information Management, I will strive to preserve the fundamental objectives and directives as stipulated in the Constitution of the Institute, that I will not allow my personal interests or any form of sentiment to influence my official conduct or my official decisions, that I will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Institute, that I will abide by the code of conduct of the Institute, that in all circumstances, I will do what is right according to the law, without fear or favor, that I will devote myself to the service and well-being of the professional practice of information management at all times. I therefore pray to God to enable me hold on to this oath always. So help me God. On this note, I hereby conferred on Matthew Stephenson, Dr. Anne-Marie Smith, Ambassador Prince Ubani Ifeanyi. I conferred on you IIM Honorary Fellowship. Congratulations as we welcome you on board into the IIM family. Next, on the line for induction, we have the professional fellows. And I hope we all have our oath of allegiance wherever we may be. From the United Kingdom chapter, we have Professor Rotimi A.K. Jayesimi, Associate Medical Director, Consultant, Gynecologist, Turok University Hospital Foundation in the United Kingdom. In the United States chapter, we have David Marco, President, EW Solutions. And in Nigeria, we have James Energy Ode, Senior Manager, Niger Delta Power Holding Company. We have Aliu Folorunsho Matthew, Group Managing Director of Telnet Nigeria Limited. We have Musa Mohammed, Advocacy and Accountability Coordinator, Option Consultancy Services Limited. We have Dr. Lucy Newman, IDP Independent Non-Executive Director, Certified Performance Technologist. We have Dr. Chukwu Chinedu Jude, Senior Technical Manager, Monitoring and Evaluation, Management Science for Health, Abuja, Nigeria. We have Adeshino Bowale Michael, System Administrator, International Bureaus PLC. We have Ilodinu Emmanuel Ikechukwu, Senior Facility Manager, Ora Ebunike and Associates. Those are the professional fellows before us today for induction into the IIM Professional Fellowship grade. I believe we all have our oath of allegiance with us. Please say after me, I, your names, male or female, currently of your current address, do hereby consent to be a fellow member with the Institute of Information Management with effect from the 19th day of September 2020. Henceforth, do solemnly swear and affirm that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Institute, that as a fellow of the Institute of Information Management, I will strive to preserve the fundamental objectives and directives as stipulated in the Constitution of the Institute, that I will not allow my personal interests or any form of sentiment to influence my official conduct or my official decisions, that I will do the best of my ability to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Institute, that I will abide by the Code of Conduct of the Institute, that in all circumstances, I will do what is right according to the law, without fear or favor, that I will devote myself to the service and well-being of the professional practice of information management at all times. I therefore pray to God to enable me hold on to this oath always. So help me God. By the power and authority conferred on me as the President, Chairman, Governing Council of the Institute of Information Management, IIM Africa, I hereby confer on you IIM Professional Fellowship. Congratulations and welcome to the IIM family. Next on the list of induction, we have the senior professional members to be inducted, and we shall be calling the names of the senior professional members predominantly from Nigeria. We have Ama Kingsley Chinenye, financial analyst, Astem International Company Limited. Kenny Adazie, founder and CEO, VP Grace Artificial Turf Investments Limited. We have Aliu Olushola Adewale, Senior Accountant, YC Holding Limited. I hope we all have our oath of allegiance in readiness for our induction. So please say after me. This is the oath of allegiance for the conferment of IIM Senior Professional Membership. I, your names, male or female, currently of your current address, do hereby consent to be a senior professional member with the Institute of Information Management, IIM Africa, with effect from the 19th day of September 2020. Henceforth, I pledge to accept and discharge the responsibilities allotted to me at all times as an information manager with integrity and observe those standards and practices that will be determined from time to time by the Standards Committee of the Institute of Information Management, with a promise to give professional opinion with absolute objectivity and respect the codes of other institutes relevant to their responsibilities. 2, have regard for the well-being of the society, respect confidentiality of information receivable in the course of my duty, while acting loyally and honestly in carrying out information management responsibilities in any organization where I'm engaged. 3, I understand that the Institute of Information Management, IIM, reserves the right to summarily terminate my membership if I violate any of the above, which were made out of my own free will. I therefore pray to God to enable me hold on to this oath always. So help me, God. Amen. By the power and authority conferred on me as the President, Chairman, Governing Council of the Institute of Information Management, IIM Africa, I hereby confer on you senior professional membership of our great institute. Congratulations as I welcome you into the IIM Africa family. Next on our list for induction are professional members. I hope and believe that the professional members for induction have their oath of allegiance with them as I administer the oaths of allegiance. So please say after me, I, your names, male or female, currently of your address, do hereby consent to be a professional member of the Institute of Information Management, IIM Africa, with effect from the 19th day of September 2020. Henceforth, I pledge to accept and discharge the responsibilities allotted to me at all times as an information manager with integrity and observe those standards and practices that will be determined from time to time by the Standards Committee of the Institute of Information Management, with a promise to give professional opinion with absolute objectivity and respect the code of other institutes relevant to their responsibilities. 2, have regard for the well-being of the society, respect the confidentiality of information receivable in the course of my duty, while acting loyally and honestly in carrying out information management responsibilities in any organization where I'm engaged. 3, I understand that the Institute of Information Management reserve the right to summarily terminate my membership if I violate any of the above, which were made out of my own free will. I therefore pray to God to enable me hold on to this oath always. So help me God. Amen. On the professional membership grade, we have Annie Nsa Akiba, Graduate Assistant, Department of Agriculture, Economics and Extension, Cross River University. We also have Uguaku Ugochi, Director, Fast Forward Trading Company. And the last but not the least, we have, so as the Chairman, President, Governing Council of the Institute, I hereby induct you as professional members of our great institute. Next, we shall be inducting our graduate members, and the names we have here is Bello Ibukun Busayo, Graduate Assistant, Redeemer University. Please come on, I believe you have your oath of allegiance there. But before I administer the oaths, I also want to mention the following senior professional members: Emejuru Chimene Ianchuku, author, A Pledge for Sustainable Future, Abuja, and also Ajali Stanley Nwanebuife, Administrative Officer, Royal Multi-Clinic Specialist Hospital. I believe you also took the oath when we were administering the oath for the senior professional membership group, and also Bello Ibukun Busayo. Now to the graduates, members, to the associate member of our great institute, we have Omonyen Obilahi Abulimen, Liberian Federal Ministry of Work and Housing, Mabushi in Abuja. Omonyen, if you have your oath of allegiance, please be ready to say after me. I, your full names, male or female, currently of your address, do hereby consent to be an associate member with the Institute of Information Management with effect from the 19th day of September 2020. Henceforth, I pledge to accept and discharge the responsibilities allotted to me at all times as an information manager with integrity, and observe those standards and practices that will be determined from time to time by the Standards Committee of the Institute of Information Management, with a promise to give professional opinion with absolute objectivity and respect the codes of other institutes relevant to their responsibilities. 2, have regard for the well-being of the society, respect confidentiality of information receivable in the course of my duty, while acting loyally and honestly in carrying out information management responsibilities in any organization where I am engaged. 3, I understand that the Institute of Information Management reserves the right to summarily terminate my membership if I violate any of the above, which were made out of my own free will. I hereby pray to God to enable me hold on to this oath always. So help me God. By the power and authority conferred on me as the President, Chairman, Governing Council of the Institute of Information Management, IIM Africa, I hereby confer on you, Associate Member of the Institute. Congratulations. The last but not the least to be inducted, we have the graduate membership, as the Institute does not induct student members. On the list here at the Nigerian chapter, we have Gideon Adejumo, Content Developer Team, Plugin Nigerian Club. Gideon, I hope you are ready with the oath of allegiance. Please say after me. I, your full names, male or female, currently of, your address, do hereby consent to be graduate member with the Institute of Information Management, IIM Africa, with effect from the 19th day of September 2020, henceforth. 1, I pledge to accept and discharge the responsibilities allotted to me at all times as information manager with integrity and observe those standards and practices that will be determined from time to time by the Standards Committee of the Institute of Information Management, with a promise to give professional opinion with absolute objectivity and respect the codes of other institutes relevant to their responsibilities. 2, have regard for the well-being of the society, respect confidentiality of information receivable in the course of my duty, while acting loyally and honestly in carrying out information management responsibilities in any organization where I'm engaged. 3, I understand that the Institute of Information Management reserves the right to summarily terminate my membership if I violate any of the above, which were made out of my own free will. I therefore pray to God to enable me hold on to this oath always. So help me God. Amen. By the authority conferred on me as the President, Chairman, Governing Council of the Institute of Information Management, I hereby admit you as graduate member of our great institute. Congratulations. On behalf of the Board of Directors, Executive Council and Management of our great institute, the Institute of Information Management, IIM Africa, I hereby welcome all our inductees on board as accredited members of our great institute, IIM Africa. For the fellows, from wherever location we might be right now, The next action we're to take is to move our hearts and ensure that it is positioned to the left hand side. That is a sign and indication that you have now become an accredited member of our institute. Once again, I want to congratulate you all and welcome you on board as members of our great institute. I want to call on the moderator to have the floor right now, as this has marked the end of the induction and investiture session of this wonderful event. Thank you all for your attention and for your participation. Do we have the moderator online?
Yes.
You may have the floor, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Before we go ahead with the response from each categories of the inductee, please, at this point, we want the categories to have a representative. You can communicate behind the scene, somebody to respond on behalf of each categories of the inductee. We want the president to use this time to recognize the executive members in the House and the advisory board. While the president is doing this, recognizing the executive council members and the advisory board, the inductees will need to get their representative that will respond briefly, because we are gradually moving to the end of this program. Sorry for all the times that have been well spent. So we'll be having response and remarks by representative of all the membership grades inducted. That's the honorary fellow, professional fellow, senior fellow, professionals, associate, and graduates. After which we'll be having vote of thanks from the president. So President, sir, over to you for the recognition of the executive council members and the advisory board, sir.
Thank you very much, our distinguished moderator. I want to crave your indulgence and also ask that the technical team also, unmute the participants so that the ESCOs that are presently online will have the opportunity of showing their faces to attendees and also introduce themselves, their role in IIM as they deem necessary. So the moderator, I want to hand over back to you to open the floor for the executive members in Australia, in the UK, in Ghana, in South Africa, in Nigeria, in France, in India, and other locations.
If you would like to talk, just unmute your line and speak.
ESCOs in the house. ESCOs in the house. Please, can you come forward and I'll do your introduction. We are waiting. Director documentation, are you online? Can you hear me?
Wally, all of us can hear you. If
Yes,
anybody would like
okay.
to speak, you just unmute your line, and then when you're done, you mute it again.
Okay. We have the Executive Council for that's for Nigeria, Africa on display. Jumi Adetoye Sholagunju, I'm Director Awards, and I've been facilitating this. So over to the other members and from different locations. You can go ahead, Sars and Ma.
Okay, over here is the Executive Council member for Public Relations and Sponsorship. My name is Alexander M.C. Anago for Nigerian Executive Council.
In case there are technical issues from the other members, we have all the names on display. Also for the various, for other countries. Sorry, I almost said SBU. So for the other locations, please kindly come online to be able to do that, for us to be able to save time.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Can I go ahead, please?
Please go ahead, go ahead.
My name is Kayode Adeniyi. I'm the director in charge of the website for the Institute and all of the online communication stuff that goes on with the Institute. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I speak?
You can go ahead. You can just go ahead and speak.
Okay.
You have the floor here.
I am Princess Tiwalade Fakonga, the Vice President 1 of the Institute of Information Management Africa. I support the president as well as the entire members of IIM to transform the mission and vision of the Institute into reality. Thank you very much.
Thank you. God bless you.
Okay, good afternoon. I'm the secretary to the Governing Council. Mrs. Luda Faridi is my name. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have Dr. Kolawole Oseni, FIM, Executive Director, Training in the house? I saw him online a while ago. Please kindly come on, the executives. Mrs. Izebube Olu, EMC, FIM, Executive Director, Constitution. Are you in the house? Mrs. Rita Ndidi Amuchenwa, FIM, Executive Director, Executive at Large, Director, Executive at Large.
Hello, everyone. Can you all hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you, ma. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. I was muted. I've been trying to get the attention to get unmuted. So luckily I get me unmuted now. My name is Yemi Ezebube. I'm the Director, Executive Director Constitution, and I'm also responsible for the committee in charge of policy, library, and documentations. I'd like to say a big thank you for everyone, and it's nice to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma. Is Dr. Oseni around? Mrs. Rita Ndidi. Dr. Patrick Orumbie. Okay, if we are not getting a response from there, maybe it's technical issue. Dr. Patrick Orumbie, FIM, is the director, that's Executive Director of Programs. Also, we have Mr. Lukayode Adeniyi, FIM, Director, that's Executive Director, Website. If you're in the house, please, you can come up.
Thank you. I'm here, Dr. Kola Oseni. I've been trying to battle the technical way. I've not been able to unmute my microphone. I'm Director of Training and also member of Executive. I work with Lagos State Record and Archives Bureau as a Director of Record and Archives. Thank you very much.
God bless you, sir. Thank you.
Good afternoon once again, Mr. Moderator. I actually introduced myself earlier on, but you mentioned my name a second time. If you want me to do it again, I will gladly do that again, sir.
Yeah, please, you can go ahead, sir.
Kayode Adene is my name. I'm the director responsible for the website. I also serve as the chairman of the Public Relations Committee of the Institute. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have the Executive Director, Executive Member, Mr. Charles Tamuno Pubo Iyo. Please pardon me for that pronunciation if I'm wrong. Please, are you in the house? While we're also waiting for Dr. Orumbe, Dr. Patrick Orumbe, and Pastor Afolarin Fangbebe, Vice President too. And while we are rounding off this section, in please, if you're able to come up, we'll be going to the next item, which is the response, that's remark from the representative of each of the categories. President, you have the permission to go ahead to this, sir. But please, the executive member can still respond later while we are still within the program.
Yes,
President, can we go ahead with the response?
Before we take the goodwill message from inductees, I want to use this opportunity to also recognize the IIM Advisory Board members. We have Mr. Colin Crooks, FIIN. We have Mr. Austin Okiri, FIIN. We have Mr. Alauna Jim Adegbero, FIIM. We have Honorable Abudawaki, FIIM. We have Dr. Obina Ubani Ebere, FIIM. We also have John Montana, FIIM. We have Princess Tiwalade Fakunda, FIIM. We have Dr. Patrick Orumbi, FIIM. We have Nelly McCallum, FIIM. So those are the IIM advisory board members. I also want to use this opportunity to recognize the various directors at various IIM chapters across the globe. In Ghana, we have Agbawe, Den Kudi, FIIM, Dr. Engineer Jumi Atoyeche, FIIM. We have Tina Charles, SPM, IIM. And for our UK chapter, we have Mr. Dada, we have Colin Crooks, and we have Dr. Ogunremi. We also want to recognize our able coordinator in Australia, Dr. Jude, and other coordinators across the globe. We recognize you all. We appreciate your input. We appreciate your contribution to the development and the spread of the Institute all over the world. So on this note, I want to call on Prince Ubani, who is going to, on behalf of the Honorary Fellow, give us the thank you and goodwill message from the Honorary Fellows being inducted today. If Prince Ubani is with me, kindly have the mic. Is Prince Ubani with us?
I think quite a number of people are having issue technically to unmute their device. So we can go to the next category for the response, or you want somebody else within the group to respond?
Can we have Dr. Anne-Marie, the goodwill message for honorary fellows? Anne, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I would like to hear from you.
On behalf of all the honorary fellow inductees to the Institute for Information Management, I would like to convey my and our appreciation and gratitude for all the work done by the chairman, the president, the executive council, the advisory board, and the participation of all the members of this fine organization. All of we who are honorary members are really thrilled to be part of this organization. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, all right. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dr. Ogunremi from the UK. I just want to introduce myself. I am the CEO of Monitor Healthcare Nigeria, and also an executive member in the UK. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. More responses, remarks? Okay, we have somebody from the professional fellow, senior professional, or unprofessional. Professional fellow, doctor? Dr. Yedokun, do you have somebody you are nominating, sir?
Yes, we have quite a number of inductees. And for professional fellow, do we have Mr. Musa Mohammed online? Mr. Musa Mohammed, please. You have the floor.
Okay.
Is Mr. Aliu or Mr. James Ode online? We will appreciate if you can nominate one of the professional fellows to give us your goodwill message and thank you message.
If you can't unmute your line, please ask in chat and we'll get it done.
Okay. I think while waiting for that, sir, President, can we go to the professional and associate and graduate for their representatives?
For the senior professional, can we have a volunteer for the goodwill message? Senior professional member.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Hello. Bye.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you, sir.
Yeah.
My name is Folorunsho Aliu. On behalf of the professional fellows, I would like to say a big thank you to the executive in Nigeria and abroad for making this possible. And we would like to commit that moving on, we'll do all we can to move the association to, or the institute, excuse me, to a higher level. Not only would people want to be part of it, but it would be an institute that would contribute to the greatness of our world and make a difference. Once again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me? Hi. Hi, everyone. My name is Kenny Adazi, and hi. On behalf of the senior professional, I want to say thank you to the IIM for the honor and for the amazing thing they've been doing with regards to the Information Institute in Africa. We will pledge allegiance with the organization to be able to put in our best as senior professionals and contribute to the growth of the organization. Thank you once again. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We really appreciate this response. So please, while we are waiting for responses from our other representative for the categories, we want to encourage everyone. And just as I said at the beginning of this, we appreciate everything that's been done despite the challenges. We are to do this online, but for subsequent one, we want people to be planning upfront for next year, so that most of us would love to accompany the president to go to other locations, celebrate with people in the UK, go for the award in the US, in Canada, Australia, and other parts of the world. So please be planning ahead. We love to celebrate, we love to be with our people. Last year, we didn't allow location to be a limitation, to be a barrier. So please plan up front for all members. It's a joy, thing of joy, having everybody in other continents for this great event. So please, we can have other people from representing other categories or any members of the executive that have not spoken. You can go ahead, Ma. You can go ahead, sir. Before I pass it on to the director, to the president and chairman. Okay, so
please, can we help to unmute Paul Moulon? He's actually trying, he's one of the IIM Africa director in South Africa. He's been trying to say something, but is unable to achieve that. The technical team will appreciate if you can assist him. His name is Paul Moulon. He's online.
Good. Speak now.
Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon. Firstly, thank you very much for the opportunity just to introduce myself and to say what a privilege it is to be part of this group. I've been one of the founder members or early members of the Institute, and I've had the privilege of watching it grow over the years. My background is a bit diverse. I have my academic qualifications are in business. I have a BCom Honours MBA. I am currently writing a PhD in integrated information governance. I've developed a framework or a model for bringing together the various elements of information governance from privacy, security, records management, corporate governance, enterprise content management. And if anybody is interested in understanding what we're doing and where we're going with that, you're more than welcome to contact me. And yes, and I've been in some aspects of information management for about 36 years now. And big focus on ECM, enterprise content management, over the years. And in the last probably 20 years, records management, and a big thrust into the broader information governance and trying to help organizations go electronic wherever possible. So that's me in a nutshell. Also spend a lot of time working with the international standards. I do sit on the various international standards committees, both for enterprise content management and for records management, developing ISO standards, and look forward to engaging with all of you at some future stage. Thank you very much again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Do we still have anybody? Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Good morning to those who are in the morning, and then good afternoon to us in the afternoon. My name is Balogun Kudus Adebowale, and I'm an associate member of the Institute, and also serving as the secretary to the IIM membership committee ESCO. I'm glad to be here with us, and I welcome the new inductees, and I believe that it will be a great journey with IIM. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so while we are waiting for others, we should have the Vice President 1, Princess Tiwalade Oyebimpe Faponda, to be getting ready for the vote of thanks immediately after we are done with the response from the various grades of that's the grades of the inductee and the other members of executives that have not spoken from Nigeria, from Africa, and other locations. Immediately after that, we have the Vice President 1, Princess Tiwalade Faponda Oyebimpe, to be prepared for the vote of thanks. Okay, President, do I have your permission to call on the Vice President 1, Tiwalade Oyebimpe, Princess, to go ahead with the vote of thanks?
Yes, thank you very much, Engineer. You can go ahead, sir. Sir.
Please, I have the honor of calling on Vice President 1, Princess Tiwalade Oyebimpe Faponda, to go ahead with the vote of thanks, while we have Ms. Zebube to be on standby for the announcement. That's the executive for constitution. You can go ahead, ma'am, Vice President One.
Good afternoon once again. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now, ma'am.
Okay. Good afternoon once again. I, Princess Tiwalade Oyebimpe Faponda, the Vice President One of the Institute of Information Management Africa, have the honor of presenting the vote of thanks on behalf of the President, Executive Governing Council, and the Advisory Board on the occasion of 2020 IIM Africa Maiden online conference, Induction and Investiture. We thank the Almighty God for making this Maiden online program possible and auspicious for that matter. To him alone be praised. We are also greatly overwhelmed by the positive response of our distinguished guest speakers, Ellen Streck, CEO and President, Kazin Information Source LLC USA, and also Clever Time Consulting, Portugal, all the way. We thank you for your highly enlightening, educative, and brilliantly presented lectures. It is a great privilege to listen to both of you very much. I need to speak as I'm speaking now. To our beloved inductees, I say a big congratulations to you on this great feat. You know, there is a saying that says, many are called, but few are chosen. I congratulate you for being the chosen one. I wish you greater heights and wonderful working relationship with you. All over the globe, I thank you so much for gracing the occasion virtually. A special thanks also goes to the distinguished ladies and gentlemen that have come to grace the occasion. You have indeed graced the occasion with your virtual presence. I know some of you might have decided to opt to do other things, but you have been with us since we started. So thank you very much for choosing to be with us, because it is an honor for us that you opted to be here, because this event cannot hold without you. You are very, very important. And I want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, that you have learned a lot. You have really, really learned a lot. You came, you saw, and you conquered. You can see how profitable it is for you to have conquered with all what you have learned. And I once again say congratulations to you. Thank you all, and God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you. We appreciate that. Thank you. God bless you. Please want to invite Mrs. Ezebube Oluyemisi Abiola, the executive, that's Director Executive for Constitution. You can go ahead, Ma.
Hello, everyone. Riding on existing protocols, I would like to say a big thank you to everyone for taking part in this event. So going straight to the the announcement for the day, we would like as an institute to give a special thanks to W Solutions for their support. We really need to say, I think we owe you guys. We say thank you and thank you so much.
You are welcome.
And support. Likewise, we want to thank the speakers also, like the Vice President one had mentioned. We just want to say thank you again. And now going to the announcement that we have to the inductees. We just want to, I saw on the chat, somebody mentioned, yes, after induction, what next? So we have quite a lot of things for you as a member of this great institute. We will start by letting you know that due to COVID, like we mentioned, this is the first, is our maiden induction, online induction as a result of COVID pandemic. And I think we will all agree that this has been a successful event so far. But going forward, we may still go back to online, but we will have our next induction coming up in Abuja, Port Harcourt and Abuja. And the information will be circulated to every member. I'm sure we all belong to the group, and we have a team room where we all share information on the WhatsApp. You will duly be informed on the dates and the venue. So we must keep tab and be informed on the next induction coming up soon. Likewise, you know this is an institute and we have certificate programs, and we also do have conferences, webinars that we share with every member of the team on a periodic basis. And when this comes up, it's being shared on the team room as well. So we all need to be in tune and to make sure that we are added. If you are not added yet, send an email to the membership email address. I'm sure you all have that. The email address you sent your information to, make sure you send this information to the team so that you'll be added to the team room and you get familiar, you familiarize yourself with all the information and everything that is going to be shared with every member of the institute. So our certificate programs also, we have quite a lot. We do have quarterly trainings. So we expect at least from induction, once you are now inducted in the different group that you belong to, you need to at least make sure you earn CPDs, you earn points by attending programs, by participating in all events that the Institute will be rolling out. So we expect every member, all the inductees to be committed and to take part fully in all the programs that we'll be sharing with every member of the team. Likewise, we have subcommittees that we've created. Committees like membership, sponsorship, publication, training, PR. The committee I belong to is documentation, policy, and library. So there are quite a number of subcommittees in the Institute. And we want you to use your expertise and your experience to participate. You need to join one committee so that we can leverage on what you have, what you know, so that we can move this institute to the next level. So we're counting on your support and we're looking forward to you need to volunteer. Nobody is going to pay you, but it's a volunteer service. And when you do this, I'm sure in your career, your professional life, you also benefit in one way or the other. And that will be your own quota, contributing your quota to the Institute as large. So we want to say a big thank you. And we look, if there are other information, we will share with everybody. For now, this is all we have at the moment. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Thank you for that brilliant one. While we will be calling on Mr. Alexander MC Anago, but President, should I go ahead with this for him to proceed with the closing remarks? Okay, so please, okay, sir. Before we do that, just like Mrs. Saizebube mentioned, a lot of people do things, contribute, they work as members of the committees and subcommittees. We also want to appreciate people that are members of the various committees. Some people are already working there. Thanks so much. So we have more people coming on board to take part in different fields, different areas. So on this note, we are inviting Mr. Alexander MC Anago. That's the award. Oh, beg your pardon. Director of Public Relations and Sponsorship for the closing remarks. God bless you, sir. Thank you, Ma.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone, and good morning to some of our colleagues that are not based in Africa, and also to all honorable fellows, those present and those that couldn't join us. We just want to thank you. Our other executive directors in these council members have spoken about a lot in thanking everyone, so I just have to be fast with it. But I just want to appreciate the speakers for the great lecture they've given to us. A lot of things that was learned today, because most of the inductees are privileged to attend this, especially the associates, the professional ones, and the student ones. The information here is massive. Also want to appreciate all the new inductees, and we'll say thank you for being present. It's not easy. And we want to also appreciate David Marco and Dr. Ann for being the host of this event. And again, thank you for becoming a fellow of IIM. So appreciate you guys. We want to also appreciate the other members that worked tirelessly to ensure that this occasion was successful. We appreciate the moderator who has been so timely in coordinating all the activities of this event by representative who is the Dr. Jumi Adetose, who did a very good moderation throughout this event. It is not easy for an online event like this. We want to appreciate our passionate and so powerful president, Dr. Edoku. As of today, we were chatting, like Mr. Nago, let's continue with the conference. So I also appreciate the president for his passion. And I want to encourage every one of us, based on the passion we've seen in our president, we seek and crave your indulgence to please follow his lead. We've been inducted into this, most of us. We have like the director for Constitution has spoken. We have various committees. There's a lot for us to do in the institution. There's a lot. And we need your commitment. We need your efforts for you to come in and for us to do this. And personally, I would like to appreciate the speakers that we have a lot of things we are working on. I guess this is the time for us to come together and do a great job in the institute. Okay, to come up with certain things that we're working on in the institution. So having said that, I just want to appreciate everyone for their time. IIM is an institute that has been established to deliver value, because our slogan is from information to value. So one thing we need to know is that we need to keep working for one goal and don't leave everything to the president. The president is there to give us direction, but he's giving direction and is adding effort, trying to make sure the institution is stable. Please, I will plead with everyone to please support the president, support the institution for us to achieve our vision and our mission. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for this. I don't know everybody can be on the screen, but there are so many people that work behind the scene, people in the secretariat, people that supported the EW group, people that supported the various executives. Thanks so much. Your names may not be coming up on the screen, but we all appreciate what you have been doing. God bless you all. And thanks to everybody for your patience. I mean, still having more than 80% attendance, more than 100 people being online. This is awesome. So at this point in time, the president, please, can we go ahead with the rounding off of the program? I don't know whether if the technical team are able to put the song up now, the recession song. We couldn't take the anthems when we started. Is this still going to come up in honor of the countries we had? Otherwise, we will go ahead with the recession song.
I think David has been able to. I think David has been able to resolve that. But before that, I want to use this opportunity to thank all the participants. I want to thank our resource persons. We're so grateful. We thank you, for making out time to be part of the success of this conference. I also want to commend our able executive council members, those of them that have been working tirelessly day and night, ensuring that things continue to move from height to height at the Institute. I want to thank all the employees of the Institute, most importantly, Bilikis, Madam Bilikis in the Lagos office. She has been wonderful, she has been supportive. She works day and night to make sure that all of these things that happens, they go according to plan. Then I also want to remind all the attendees that ensuring that things continue issuing a certificate of participation of the Institute of Information Management and the International University of Information Management in the US. So if you are among those that actually stayed on for up to 3 hours of the entire program, you can be rest assured that we shall get back to you before the end of the month with your certificates. Then on this note, I want to ask if David is ready for us.
Absolutely. If you'd like me to play the music, we can, but you won't be able to talk over it. I think that might be the only challenge.
No, we don't. There won't be need for us to actually comment, because we would have the anthems, the United Kingdom national anthem, the United States anthem, and Nigeria anthem. Then we can have the recession song, which marks the end of the conference. So as soon as we finish playing the recession song, then it means the conference and induction has officially come to an end. Thank you very much.
Great. I'm going to mute everybody's line and play the music.
Thank you all. Safe journey as you go back to your different locations. If you are doing this from the office, safe journey home. If you're at home, God will continue to protect everyone in different areas where you are. And please, we should all remember to stay safe, and we will see the end of this without any evil coming upon any of us. We will all be alive to do more conferences together, more induction, investiture, and more celebration. We won't lose anyone in our midst, and the Lord will continue to protect you, your family, and all this COVID thing will go completely without any of us being afflicted in Jesus' name. God bless you all. Thank you very much. Thank you, President. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, the technical team. EW, you are great. God bless you. Guest speaker.
Thank
God
you.
bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Anne. I
Good
appreciate
job, David.
you all.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Goodbye.
God bless everybody.
Goodbye.
Thank you. God bless you.
Bye.
See you in US. See you in UK. See you in Australia next year, by God's grace. See you in Ghana. See you in South Africa, other places, everywhere.
David, thank you so much.
See you all. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Goodbye.
Bye, Dave.